This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they are providing to the entire Upper Echelon community. Also merchandise, limited edition holiday merch, links down below. Mario. Oh, Mario. Today we got a fun one. Sometimes you just get a bad vibe. Everyone probably knows what I'm talking about, but really, think about it. That time you saw someone, you never interacted with them, you didn't know their past, but you just knew something was wrong. Maybe it was the way they looked, or the way they talked, or how they carried themselves, who knows. But regardless of how, the fact remains, you saw through their facade and you identified what they really were. That's the feeling I get when I look at this guy right here. The same feeling I got with Andrew Arbini of Regal Reserve. The same feeling I got with Alex Edson from Business Casual. And the same feeling I will undoubtedly get many more times in the future when I see someone who just doesn't feel quite right. For those that don't know, Andrew Arbini and Alex Edson are past, shall we say, subjects in a series of videos exposing the corrosive nature of their personalities and businesses on the space around them. I enjoyed those videos. They keep me sharp. Something about bringing to light things that a dishonest person once hidden makes me rock fucking hard, and today I get to do it again with Mario Nawfal. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's discuss how one of the shadiest people I've ever seen catapulted himself into a national spotlight with references by Fox News, appearances by Elon Musk, as well as other billionaires, and more crypto executive guests or venture capitalist speakers than I can even count. Let's get started. Who is Mario Nawfal? For most people that recognize the name, he is a Twitter personality and crypto businessman, I use that word with extreme sarcastic emphasis here, who rose to popularity about 1 week ago after the implosion of FTX. His primary road to fame was through a function called Twitter Spaces, where a host can accrue listeners and basically run a live podcast on the platform. As the financial world was sent spinning by a well-connected billionaire's public downfall, that being Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX, Mario started putting together panels, I'll call them, and discussing what was happening. In the span of just a couple of days, he went from a relatively unknown businessman to what seems like the de facto leader of a crypto investigation movement intent upon exposing what was really happening inside FTX. His spaces rapidly exploded in popularity to a number in the tens of thousands. He had multiple billionaires in the speaking roster, including Elon Musk and CZ, the head of FTX rival Binance, as well as a significant number of high-profile businessmen, entrepreneurs, and executives. Not enough? Okay. The rise to social media fame has been so rapid, Mario Nawfal even secured Hunter Biden as a speaker on one of his panels, which ended in relative disaster when he hot-mic'd and complained that he wasn't allowed to ask certain political questions. Yeah, no shit, man. These spaces grew so quickly that even now, as I make the video, they are being referenced by mainstream legacy media, such as Fox News, and with between 10 and 30,000 concurrent listeners, Mario Nawfal was being catapulted to a center stage position. 10, 12, 16 hours per day. Very little sleep. One of these panels is even happening right now with over 10,000 listeners. And as the revolving door of industry professionals and insiders continues to turn, I thought it would be rather helpful for the crypto community to understand just who exactly their newest spokesperson really is. Alright, time for one of the longest partnerships that the channel has ever had, Manscaped. Holiday season is upon us, and Manscaped provides a wide array of products to choose from, centering on their highly developed Lawnmower 4.0. Cordless, waterproof, interchangeable blade guards, and a wireless charging feature make this the most advanced iteration of their signature product yet. Everything from enhanced battery life, convenience-based LED, and travel lock features to stop it from going off in your suitcase, pocket, or backpack. Also, yes, of course, there's more. Manscaped is offering their all-in-one Performance Package 4.0, complete with Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Toner, sulfate and paraben-free, if you care about that, as well as the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. Also, perfect stocking stuffers, you can add the Shears 2.0 Luxury Stainless Steel Nail Kit or the Body Buffer, an amazing scrubber that beats shower loofahs any day. There is a very good reason that 6 million men worldwide trust Manscaped as their one and only hygiene option. If you want a special discount, you can use the link down below in the description and code UPPER at checkout for 20% off and free international shipping, as well as 2 free gifts, a Shed travel bag and Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs. Again, link down below and code UPPER at checkout for 20% off and free international shipping. Big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the channel. Meet Mario. Do good, do it consistently, be patient. These are the values that are quoted and expressed on his vanity-driven personal website. But through that website, we get a better understanding of his multiple businesses. Most of these we don't care about, save one, though I would be willing to bet quite a hefty sum of money that there's some shit to find in the others as well. The one we care about for today, at least, is IBC. IBC, also called IBC Group, IBC Launchpad, or IBC International, is an incubation company helping crypto projects grow, get noticed, and accelerate their future. Sounds good, right? Sure. Having built connections with a fairly substantial number of venture capital firms, IBC Launchpad became a somewhat prolific industry player. Let's read a particularly relevant paragraph from their website right now. Quote, "We launched ICOs in 2017, STOs in 2018, IEOs in 2020, and now IDOs, IEOs, and NFT projects. We have multiple case studies, and our reputation means any project we get behind will gain from our credibility. We are therefore obliged to heavily vet a project before deciding to have our name as a backer. To us, reputation is everything, and we will work with you for as long as it takes to ensure that you are successful, well after the launch of the token." End quote. And please do keep that in mind for the rest of the video. That sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? However, giving them the benefit of the doubt, let's look at some of their partners. Now, this is important. Having been discovered by a couple of users on Twitter who began publishing some of the sketchy past business ventures that Mario has been involved with, IBC Group temporarily shut down their website. They purged a series of price graphs, which we'll talk about later, and more importantly, took their entire public portfolio offline. Not only this, they actually endeavored, successfully I might add, to exclude this URL from the Internet Archives, attempting to hide their prior list of projects completely. Thankfully, it didn't work. Snapshotted and cataloged by a user named HashBastards on Twitter, we now have an incomplete but still substantial spreadsheet of IBC Group prior token partners. And to better understand how well IBC Group will work with you, even after launch, end quote, and how much their reputation means to them as they heavily vet all projects before listing their name as a backer, let's look at some of them. This is CryoWar, partnered with IBC, probably expecting them to work as long as it takes to ensure success well after the launch of the token, but when you zoom out, damn, it basically went to zero. Now, to be fair, one catastrophic failure does not constitute a pattern. Yes, it completely wiped out investors, but what if it's an isolated incident? Seen here, posted by Dr. Knott on Twitter, I will link to their thread down below in the description, a representative of IBC is referencing Faith Tribe as a stellar example of what they can do. However, if we look at the reality of Faith Tribe token, it's effectively the same. Two examples? Coincidence, maybe. Let's do some more. Spellfire. Debuting with a price tag of 12 cents, Spellfire is now worth 0.07 of a penny, having lost all value and all volume. 3 examples. Want some more? Coming right up. Whale Map. Same thing. Pumped high initially, then destroyed. Age of Gods. Same thing again. Pumped high, then dropping 99% in the same exact time frame as all the rest. Dino Land. Once again, 25-cent spike in the initial days after launch, dropping to 0.03 of a penny in the aftermath, and the list goes on and on and on, dozens at a time. These are not anomalies. They are the entirety of IBC's portfolio. They have a near 0% record when it comes to vetting or supporting projects, and yet this guy, the founder, is hailed as some sort of authority in the aftermath of FTX. Now, being absolute shit at your job isn't really a crime, but when you intentionally misrepresent data and then hide evidence, I don't know, getting a little more risky there. Before the site was temporarily taken down and before the portfolio got scrubbed completely, IBC Group had some snapshots on their website to indicate how the projects that they back were performing. Here's 3 different examples that were captured by a user named Scott on Twitter. Genopets, Blocktopia, and Sidus Heroes. Okay, Genopets is listed as being worth $37.83. Blocktopia is listed at 17.8 cents, and Sidus Heroes at roughly 19 cents. Let's check them. Genopets is $1.24. Blocktopia is 0.2 of a penny, and Sidus Heroes is 0.1 of a penny. IBC took the peak token price, this is what they did, for all of these, a price that was not sustained, merely touched briefly before a complete crash in value, and listed it as the snapshot of how their investments were currently performing. When confronted by this, Mario stated that the website was just simply out of date, then taking it offline to delete the screenshots, not update them, delete them, and their entire portfolio as well, as he attempted to scrub it from the internet completely. But that cannot possibly be the actual cause, because these are manual snapshots at a specific point in time, which appears to coincide with the absolute peak price of the now pumped and subsequently dumped tokens, after which they never updated the snapshot again, leading new customers to believe that their investments were actually performing well if they didn't look them up for themselves, not crashing and burning nearly 100% of the time. Not a great look. However, this by itself might not have been worthy of a video, so let's expand. In the world of crypto and venture capital, there is a thing called SAFTs. Also known as a Simple Agreement for Future Tokens, SAFTs are a document between developers and venture capital firms that contain a great deal of information. According to a source of mine, I'm not sure this person wants to be publicly named just yet since they are discussing with legal counsel. According to a source, some of these SAFTs are out in the wild. They have them, and they can actually see what happened for some of these projects, and that IBC Group was in breach of these SAFTs, including how much money IBC Group made in the process. You see, according to numerous sources now familiar with internal operations that I've spoken to, IBC never really cared about the clients they took on at all. From a high-level venture capital Telegram group, we can see that they are actually being kicked out of channels that they join because there are, quote, only negative things to say about them, and they have a reputation for misleading projects and then pushing consulting and marketing services on them. Even worse, from the information that I have seen and a very informative conversation with Dr. Knott on Twitter as well, IBC would run a cookie-cutter operation where they received seed tokens in bulk and then dumped them on retail investors as soon as possible. Far from a valuable service that better positioned projects for the future, they were vultures who loaded up on cheap initial token balances, then dumped those tokens on retail investors for maximum profit to the detriment of everyone, including their own client. Here's another tidbit from the website that helps highlight the general thought process behind IBC. Quote, justifying why your blockchain-based platform needs a token at all. Even if you are able to support your token with a future use case and utility, it is not guaranteed that people will be climbing over each other to purchase it during the sale period. For that, you need to convince potential investors, the general public, and most importantly, the media, that your ICO is not a blatant cash grab. End quote. Yeah, it turns out the more you look at this, the more you dig and the more you read, the more it seems like an actual pump and dump scam academy, where they teach you how to execute a pump and dump scheme while participating in the subsequent token dump themselves with seed capital, or tokens, that they were given as payment for services rendered, which they didn't actually render, allegedly. Now, Mario is rather unhappy about all of this coming to light. He has threatened legal action already, so I wanted to put a little bit of a heartfelt message in here. Hey man, what's up? Just a couple of things. For starters, I cut my teeth on people far more intelligent and powerful than you. I am well-resourced, I have a particularly strong dislike of people who harm common investors, and I also have a bit of an aptitude for digging up information that people generally don't want found online. Today, I've reported on some of the more obvious things that are coming to light, but I've also been given a few threads to tug on in the background that are, shall we say, much more interesting. I will, of course, be pursuing those, but I'd like to take this moment to say that you should be extremely fucking careful with how you respond from here on out. Taking down parts of your website, hiding them from the internet archives, continuing to try and weasel your way into the highest levels of crypto discourse when you yourself are nothing but a fucking sickness in the space, yeah, rethink it. You probably won't, people like you never do, hence why my blueprint for conflict like this works perfectly to begin with, but I thought it was worth saying, just in case. Anyway, there's two final things to discuss. First one, caught on webcam, there is a conversation that seems to give quite a bit of context on how Mario thinks, and what tactics he is willing to use. For the sake of full disclosure here, the original editor of the source video has claimed that Mario was simply riffing on his podcast during a broader conversation, but I'll let individual viewers make up their own minds on this one.
Mixergy is a good podcast, and see how they ask the questions. And if you want to be really, shady, you can pretend, fuck. You can pretend you're doing a pre-interview for another big podcast, okay? Let's say there's a big podcast called Mixergy. I'll put the name there. What you could do is say, hey, my name is... Yeah. That's really, really shady. But fuck it. I'm giving you tips so you guys make money. And I would recommend you do anything it takes to start making money. But it's pretty courageous. All right. So what you can do is you can say, hey, my name is Bob. I'm reaching out on behalf of Mixergy. Then I'm going to call them confirm. And you can even open a domain, mixergypodcast.com, which doesn't exist. And then have an email, bob@mixergypodcast.com, and have it redirect to Mixergy. And then start contacting, yeah, I'm doing a pre-interview on for Mixergy. Would love to ask you a few questions. You're not causing damages, so it's not gonna cause you legal issues. And you can ask them sensitive information there and get it. Okay?
That is pretty telling, in my opinion. Now, if he were doing this to find impropriety and conduct due diligence for the wider community, to the benefit of everyone, fine. I wouldn't really hassle him on that. But having stated the directive that people should do anything, even shady things, to make money, He goes on to describe straight-up impersonation in order to secure privileged insider information. He says offhandedly that there's no damage, so it won't cause you legal problems. However, yes it will. If you impersonate a larger production with a fake URL and redirect, asking for privileged financial information and then trade on that information to make money, yeah, that's a fucking crime, bro. And again, perhaps this is part of a wider conversation that completely changes the context. But personally, I don't really see how that could actually be the case. Final thing. It turns out that ICB Group has an entire section dedicated to a guarantee, just a straight up guarantee, keep that in mind, that they will get client Twitter accounts verified. There's nothing more coveted than a blue check mark. We guarantee verification in 30 days or less, etc., etc. But how is that possible? Through an indirect source, and I could not fully verify this, but having seen contextual information from two separate people that then cross-referenced, it seems to align perfectly, it seems that IBC Group was charging upwards of $20,000 for the service of verification. Remember, Twitter just had a separate scandal, seemingly verified by Elon Musk himself, now the sole director, owner, and chief executive at the company, so probably no higher authority than him, where it was alleged and corroborated that certain employees were charging $10,000, $12,000, or even $15,000 to verify users on the platform and skip the line. That's how they phrased it. This black market, if you will, was extremely lucrative and widely used. There are many first-hand accounts of this being the case, which would logically require the question, was part of the ICB business model simply charging clients an obscene amount of money only to have a corrupt Twitter employee take their cut and verify the account immediately? Is that why they could present such a clear-cut guarantee when Twitter verification was anything but consistent in the prior months before Elon Musk's takeover? It does make you think, doesn't it? Bottom line, Mario Nawfal is a rising media star in cryptocurrency, while the reality of who he is and what he has done in the past is shady at absolute best. At worst, he allegedly manipulated customers, acquired seed tokens, systematically dumped them on retail investors for a massive alleged payday, while falsely representing his portfolio to future clients, and when called out for all of this, he went into maximum damage control mode, deleting evidence wherever possible, threatening legal action, and attempting to scrub his image to avoid reputational damage. For fuck's sake, the guy is so hell-bent on chasing the dopamine hit of temporary social media fame, he had Hunter Biden on his Twitter Spaces as a guest, didn't ask him any relevant questions about FTX, the only person who did ask those got immediately kicked from the call, and then complained when the appearance was over about how his hands were tied and he couldn't ask political questions. Yeah, man, Hunter Biden is relentlessly scrutinized by right-wing media, both for his proximity to the president and prior escapades, and you had him on your talk show about crypto. No shit his handler was going to shut down the political questions. Are you stupid? These Twitter spaces are giving everyone geopolitical and financial whiplash. What started as an explosion of speculation on FTX, rife with misinformation that they were propagating and peddling, turned into an explosion of speculation on the missile that hit Poland. None of these people are qualified to discuss that kind of event. They're barely even qualified to think about it. And yet, tens of thousands of people are tuning in to hear one of the shadiest people I have ever seen, with a horde of his very, very unintelligent friends, discuss wild speculation and rumor as if everything they hear is true, all in the pursuit of maximized revenue and fame. It's up to you who you want to believe, but if you want to listen to and believe Mario Nawfal, I have one question for you. Why? That's it. If you want to support, please check out the links down below. Depending on how he responds, there absolutely might be another video. I'll be using the Regal Reserve playbook on this one, for those of you who know what that means. And of course, grab some of our exclusive holiday merchandise. Also the sponsor, yeah, Manscaped, click that. Plus a big shout out to Hash Bastards and Dr. Knot on Twitter. All of their social medias, well, their Twitter and their threads are linked down below. They have done an excellent job compiling info on all this, so I appreciate them. I'll link their profiles, etc. Yeah. Plus a whole lot more, such as Patreon and locals, but yeah, I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.